Who, in your opinion, is the most overrated band, singer or musician? Chris fucking Brown. Why does he still have a career? Sort by controversial for fun comments. Once you get past the basic answers of today's mainstream pop stars, you really get into the juicy opinions lol. She has a wonderful voice, and her music is catchy, but Ariana Grande wouldn't know diction if it punched her directly in the face. I cannot understand a single thing that woman says. All of her lyrics are just a slurred mess of poor enunciation. DJ Khaled such an annoying tool that has to announce himself on every song. And another one. Shawn Mendes. Every song sounds the fucking same. Begin the hate comments lol. But Beyoncé. While I can agree that she's talented, I personally don't like her singing style much. But mostly I just don't think her music is interesting. It's boring to me, and I just don't understand this insane mass appeal to her music. But pretty much everyone completely disagrees with me. Drake, he's certainly not a bad artist and I like some of his music, but man is he overrated. I don't get why he's one of the biggest artists of this day and age. Cardi B, seriously, WTF? Mark Forster in Germany. Played up and down all the local radio stations for years, but I can't remember a single song because they're all so forgettable. I find modern pop country, Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Rhett, etc., to be quite insufferable. The lame accent and subject matter just gets absurdly old. And it's genuinely surprising that people choose to listen to it. I think J-Lo is overrated and I think her family agrees. JAAASOONDERULOOOO. If you need to say your name in every fucking song, I actually appreciate it so I can quickly skip it. Adam Levine. He has a great vocal range, but not at all enjoyable to listen to. Billie Eilish. She's definitely talented, but she is a product of excellent branding and marketing. I have no problem with that, but she's definitely not some musical genius like her young fans make her out to be. Her parents are both actors and screenwriters, her brother is her main producer, songwriter, lyricist and had a band with management and was on Glee. She's a perfect example of, it's all about who you know. Not to take anything away from her talents because she definitely is talented. I just see her as the frontman of a group working behind the scenes producing all of the real talent. Demi Lovato can sing but has never made an interesting song. Beyoncé. Katy Perry. Roar is just awful and people treat it like some poignant anthem. Kids Bop. I would compose a whole book on this topic. Serious. What's the most traumatizing thing you experienced as a child? I was about 7 or 8 when I heard some noise coming from the garage. My mom was at work and I was being babysat by one of my uncles. I went to open the garage to find my other uncle strangling his girlfriend up against the car. She had blood coming out of her nose and mouth. I just froze and stood there staring and my uncle didn't even notice and continued choking and strangling her. My other uncle came to the door where I was standing, saw what was happening and grabbed me. He called my mom and then the police, who later came and arrested my uncle. There's more to this story I wasn't privy to at such a young age. But yeah, my other uncle is crazy. He's been to jail a few times, has anger and control issues. Watching my grandpa slowly waste away on our living room couch. He had a paraganglioma on his pancreas, and there was nothing, especially in 1980, that could be done for him. I was 4, and he was my favorite person, and I couldn't sit with him, or hug him, or anything. I miss him even after 40 years. Either that or my best friend dying over Christmas break in 1988. I miss her too. I pretty much hated everything after that. I saw my dad get swept away and drowned when I was 11. It's really something I've never recovered from. It's been 16 years and not a day goes by I don't remember it. I saw our neighbor's collie killed by a driver speeding through the neighborhood. As a young boy, it had real impact because I loved her, and it hurt when he stuck his head out the driver's door window, grinned, and just sped off, leaving the dog dead in the road and me, a kid, in tears. As I once commented, how anyone could be so callous and cruel was beyond my imagination. Probably my parents break up. I was playing Peggle on my dad's computer and my mom was coming back from the store. I don't know why this happened really, but when my mom got home I ran to open the door and she threw a Coke can at my head and it busted. Then my dad and mom yelled at each other for a while and they went to fight in the bedroom. I remember seeing my dad slam her against the bed and choke her till she turned red. And eventually my grandma yelling in the background convinced him to stop. My mom left, got in her car, and floored it down the road, running into mailboxes and things. I remember crying for a long time in the bathroom. and then my mom came back a few hours later and demanded that I go with her. I don't remember the next few years after this. I had a major surgery and the anesthesia failed for a few minutes. Mild for most people, but trauma is trauma. My third-grade teacher slammed the lid of the piano down on my little hands and screamed in my face, "Nobody wants to hear you play." I am still struggling with that as a 61-year-old musician. The shit sticks in your head. I made a previous post, but I have a follow-up traumatic event as well. My dad died before my second birthday while being held up at a gas station robbery. My mom told me he was shot in the head when I was 8 years old. This was also the first time I found out my current dad wasn't my really dad. When I was in 6th grade, my mom showed me this suitcase that contained a few of my real dad's old belongings such as letters, his clothes, eyeglasses, etc. etc. She then showed me an envelope which had pictures from my dad's death crime scene. She actually showed me the photos of my dad shot in the head. Brains blown out and everything as a 6th grader. When I was little, my mom used to spank me in the basement. One time I got in trouble at school, so I had to go down to the basement, and then my mom spanked me so hard I had bruises on my legs. I told my soccer coach I got hurt so I wouldn't have to wear the uniform and show my bruises. That was the worst part because back then I loved soccer more than anything. To this day, if I am at a friend's house and they say come down to the basement, my whole body freezes up. I can't breathe. It's physically hard to get myself to go down into the basement. A child in my family. I pray for her every day. Her sister died of a disease when she was 9. 2 years later her dad killed himself. Her mother up and moved the family far away to another state to live with grandparents. 1 year later grandma died. Mom quickly met a man and moved in with him. When the girl turned 12 he began raping her on a daily basis for 2 years. He told her if she tells he will kill her entire family, including himself, and leave her there all alone. She finally told and he killed himself in their house with the same kind of gun her father used. Being encouraged to get drunk from the age of 7. Resulting in full alcoholism by 13 and staying drunk until I was 50. Rape by my male cousin, or other male cousin, or a female my family knew. From the time I was very young, 2-3 years old, up to early teens on a semi-regular basis. When it starts that young and comes from many different angles, it seems like it's just something people do. Hard to gauge the single most traumatizing, but collectively definitely. Bar none most traumatizing. 34 and still getting things back in order. My older brother used to molest me at a young age, 7-10. When I told Mom, she just told me, "He'll stop eventually, just don't tell anyone." You don't want him getting killed, do you? Well, when I was 11 a fellow Boy Scout playing with fire panicked, threw burning camp fuel around which landed on me and lit me on fire. I was in the burn ward for a month before they peeled skin from one side of my leg to graft onto the buns. That was pretty traumatic. Edit. You know. I just read a bunch of the other responses and I'm shocked to now think, well, at least I was only on fire. When I was really little, my dad accused me of something, which I denied. Then he beat me until I told him what he wanted to hear. Then because I changed my story, he hit me some more for lying. Then Mom got home and he told her that he caught me lying so she should never trust me again. She took that order seriously, which led to many more beatings down the road. I don't remember what the thing he accused me of was. I may not even have understood it at the time. Because of the rule though, I remember that day. Seeing my pet drowned. Probably sexual abuse by my own father. This happened between the ages 3-5 when I was especially helpless to stop. I don't feel too comfortable getting into any further details, but I can assume you can kind of fill in the details about the sort of thing done by him. I suffer PTSD as a result, and it's bad enough to where I have to have an emotional support animal to help with it. The neighbor kid did sexual things to me since I was young enough to not remember, maybe 5. Maybe earlier, until I was a teenager. I think his dad messed with me as well, but I don't have concrete memories of it, just nightmares of being raped and strangled. I'd never realized that the kid doing stuff to me was traumatizing until I started therapy for what turned out to be symptoms of a dissociative disorder and PTSD. Oh, hands down, my mother alcoholism. It really fucks you up in ways that you cannot imagine. And you don't even realize that until years after. I still can't drink alcohol because of it. It terrifies me to even entertain the possibility to become something close to her. When I was 7, my dad, sister, and I got into a motorcycle crash. We were passing by a curve and there was a dog crossing the road. My dad didn't want to hit the dog so he swerved right. For some reason the dog decided to run back to the other side of the road, and it hit the back wheel of the motorcycle. My dad lost control and the motorcycle ended up falling. We were going a bit fast and I was in front, so when the motorcycle fell it kind of just kept drifting for 6 more feet with my face being dragged. I ended up with so much wounds on my face and arms, most of the scars remained years. I'm 17 now and I only have 1 scar left on my face. I've thankfully gotten the courage to ride motorcycles again, but whenever we pass by the place we crashed, I get really anxious.